Hello, everybody. Ocean Mike welcomes you to another exciting video. Hey there, Jimmy. Welcome to Tiff First Individual. Hello, Puck. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. Jellyfish time indeed. Hello, Level Up, and no worries. You have a great rest of your day, and thank you. So we got 3 folks so far. What is the best type of bread? I like a good French baguette. Monday's been alright. I haven't done too much. I woke up late. I didn't have much to do. Didn't feel very well at one point during the day, but I'm alright now, so living the dream. Pardon my yawn there. How has everybody else's day been? We'll get started in a minute or two at 9:30, so in about 3 minutes. Good old no-name thumb up. Thank you very much for the thumb up. All right, it's 9:28 now. We'll get started in 2 minutes. The ideal sandwich. I usually like subs, but Cubans are also pretty good. So if I did a sub, I'd do like a toasted turkey and cheese, probably provolone or something. And then like some bacon and then lettuce, tomatoes. Yeah. Hello, Aaliyah. Welcome to the channel. Good to see you again. And I'm glad to hear that your day has been going well, Jimmy. All right. It's close enough to the starting time. I guess we'll get started. Let me pull up my list of jellyfish that I set in preparation. Which one should we do first? Let's talk about this one. How about the fried egg jellyfish? That one is a funky little fella. I'll show you a picture and then I will talk about it. Four hours in the gym today, huh? That's quite many hours. I'm very hungry too, Puck. I won't lie. So here is the egg jellyfish. As you can see, it gets its name because the bottom half looks like a shell, And then this half looks like an egg yolk and white. I would not know how eggs taste like as I am allergic. So these little fellas, they don't get very large. However, they live to be about 6 months, I believe, between 6 and 7 months. So they don't live very long either. There's kind of small little fellas that look like eggs, which is pretty cool. And their breeding season is okay, so summer to winter. So that would mean that their breeding season is in winter. They only live about between summer and winter, and then they die after the water gets cold. So as soon as the water heats up, they do broadcast spawning through the budding system. They produce little bunches of cells like many other jellyfish, and then let those pop off of their body, and then it creates a new jellyfish. However, it does take a while, and it's a little bit more of a process than that. Well, they might not have sentience. They just kind of have nerve endings that react to touch. But yeah. Well, these get die when the water gets chilly because their cells rely on warm water to be able to function. Because jellyfish do not have nervous systems. They just have, well, they do, but they don't have brains. They don't have sentience. They just have clusters of nerves that react to touch. So, like when a fish touches its limbs, those limbs automatically react to that by sending out cnidocytes, which are the stinging cells. They're like little harpoons that launch into it. And then after that is done, the cells or the nerves are then like something's touching. We got to start wrapping around. So then the limbs start to kind of like push forward and try to wrap around their prey. As effective as a hoodie might be, I don't think it'd be too helpful for them. I guess we could do this one next. So, another fun jellyfish is the Atolla jellyfish, which are a bioluminescent jellyfish. They are cool because they actually glow to scare away predators. They do this by they create a series of flashes when predators or possible threats come near them with their bioluminescence, and that kind of gives off the impression that you don't want to mess with me. So predators say, oops, we better go away, and then they leave the Atolla jellyfish alone. It's also why it has the nickname the alarm jellyfish. I would not recommend putting a jellyfish on bread and eating it. It isn't like SpongeBob where you can have the jellyfish jelly. It's not the same. That is a good question. I don't know if that's ever been tested, but maybe. But then again, the freezing stimulation might kill the nerves because it doesn't have a central brain or body that works to keep itself regulated. It's just a bundle of cells. Yeah, like good old No Name said, that would end up killing a lot of the cells, especially the nervous cells, which are what's primarily responsible for keeping the jellyfish alive. Yes, Puck, I remember you said that. You said you were very hungry. I'm very hungry too. Before I started this stream, I thought maybe I could go get something to eat first, but everything is closed, I think. Well, all things that require meal swipes or dining dollars, that is. And I don't have cash or a credit card I'm allowed to use. On hats, just like regular hats. I like hats. Hats can be fun. I think a good beanie in the winter can be good and nice. What vitamins and minerals are jellyfish rich in? It's a good question. I mean, I just Googled to make sure because I'm not really an expert on eating jellyfish. That isn't something that I recommend doing either if you just see them and think, oh, I should prepare that. Because there are only certain species that are edible that aren't as venomous as others. But I mean, they do have protein, like most living organisms do. They have protein and I believe antioxidants. And they also have chlorine. Win next Lego stream. Actually, I have a Lego set that I haven't built just for the hell of it. I just was sent one as a gag gift, so I could just build it. It's a small one. I think it's a Marvel set. It's like the Ghost Rider's car or whatever. I thought he had a motorcycle though. Hello, Storm. It is good to see you. So I can build a Lego set anytime. And for those who do not know, building Lego sets is kind of a milestone thing on this channel. We built ocean themed ones for subscribers and anniversaries. And I guess I can continue to do that. Should I do another ocean advent calendar or should I do something different this year for Christmas? Christmas is getting a little bit closer, or should I do like a something for Halloween maybe instead? I don't know. Last year for Halloween, I did spooky fish all, or deep sea and spooky fish all month until Halloween. Well, my summer classes ended last week, so I've just been doing like orientation activities, although I haven't been doing too many of those because they aren't really my cup of tea, but I've just been kind of chilling with friends or the couple of friends I've made. So my homework has been non existent, but classes start the day after tomorrow, so Monday. It doesn't matter as much. I mean, to answer your question, good old no name, he asks, would fish populations thrive at a certain level of water salinity, or does it only matter that it is non lethal or devoid of salt? Um, that's a good question. So it doesn't really matter as much as you might think. It matters a lot more to shellfish, because shellfish in the early stages of development, um, depending on how level the salinity and acidity is, they might not, they're not as easily able to develop their shells upon early development, which has become a problem in recent years because the salinity and acidity on the west coast has gotten pretty high of recent, so shellfish fisheries have been struggling a bit because a decent amount of their harvest is not developing and passing away at a young age. It's not fair. All right, let's talk about one more jellyfish. I usually talk about two fish for fish of the day, but Yeah, and after I talk about this one jellyfish or last jellyfish, let's just talk about jellyfish in general, like what make them click. I'm trying to find a picture of it. I forget the scientific name off the side of my head. I'll just have to use my old way of doing it. There's that. How do jellies reproduce? Actually, I can do a Warhammer model painting stream soon because I have one at home, but the condition is for me to be able to get it is I have to visit home. And I've been trying to visit home for the past couple of weeks, but my brother's been very, very busy with my brother's cross country meets. I almost trying to say track and field, but it's not the season for that yet. That happens in spring. He's been doing track and field meets. So they've been busy on a lot of the weekends, so I haven't been able to get a ride back because freshmen aren't allowed to have their cars on campus, although some people bring them anyway, which has gotten people in trouble. Anyway, let's talk about one of the most mysterious jellyfish alive right now. This is the Deepstaria. It is surprisingly a. I'm trying to catch the light from my computer. Do the little flashies. Yeah, there it is. Do you see it? Yeah. Hee. Anyway, so the Deepstaria, it's a very mysterious one. It looks like a large garbage bag, and it is a very large jellyfish too. It lives around, pardon me, wrong pipe. It lives around 3,000 meters deep in the Gulf of Mexico and the Indo-Pacific region. So it isn't like a global fish. It's a very deep sea. However, it is widely unknown because there have been very few appearances of them over the years. They are thought to be a very mysterious predator, though. So I'll answer Stormcloak's question first, and then I'll answer good old no names. So Stormcloak Guard asks if Ocean Mike could be a jellyfish. Which jellyfish would he be? That'd be the immortal jellyfish, which is a jellyfish. They can be killed, I think, like due to like tissue damage and stuff. Actually, I'm not even sure if that could kill them because I think they have like a bizarre budding process that keeps their tissues fresh. Regardless, they can basically continue to exist indefinitely, which is very interesting. So I think it would be cool to be a little jellyfish that can't die from age and just kind of exist. Lobsters are immortal to age. I believe that's an urban myth, unless there's some study that I haven't heard of. Yeah, that's just an urban legend. I didn't think that was real at all because what kind of started this urban legend is something that is somewhat real. They don't age the way most creatures do. They continue to grow, and they can and they don't slow down in their metabolism or reproductive tendencies. They continue to do it as if they were at a normal age. However, what kills them is their bodies continue to grow, and so they exhaust during a molt. So, like when they're molting, they end up dying because their bodies can't produce the energy to grow that large. So, basically, then that's the problem with a lot of crustaceans and insects. They die this way because their bodies can't support the energy to molt and grow that way. Lobsters can be pretty fast. Pretty much, yeah. Death by cellular exhaustion. Good old No Name asked earlier, how did jellies reproduce? It's a pretty interesting process, and it is through a type of spawning. So basically, what they do is they create little buds on different parts of their body, and those buds kind of develop to a certain point, and then they kind of get released from the body, and then if properly fertilized and if they survive for long enough, then they continue to grow and become a jellyfish. Some species, well, a lot of species actually, kind of upon that budding, it almost kind of grows like a tree. It's kind of weird. They grow into like a Medusa type structure. And no, I'm not talking about the Greek god. I'm talking, it's a common structure referenced in marine biology. It's like a branchy type structure, almost like a tree. So, yeah. And then they kind of grow from there until they are able to, those new buds that come from the tree type structure come off, and then they become a jellyfish from a larvae stage. It's interesting. Fish 5G. Fish might be 5G already. We don't know. Stormcloak Guard asks, what type of fish would you say I am, Ocean Mike? I'd say you are. An orange roughy. Actually, no. I'm going to say a coelacanth. So we're an old ally. Coelacanths are very old. And they're hard to come by. Orange roughies, though, I mean, they live for a very long time. I believe around in the 200s is when they can then pass away from age. TIE asks, are there bugs in the sea? There, as a matter of fact, are. Sorry, my screen's kind of freezing. Give me a second. And when I say insects, I'm not talking about your. Well, I guess there technically aren't really insects that live underwater. What I mean by that is, I often compare insects closely just in arthropods in general, which are like crustaceans. Because, I mean, pill bugs, aka the roly poly, is actually a crustacean, which a lot of people don't know that. It's one of the very few terrestrial crustaceans, or all terrestrial crustaceans. However, crustaceans are very, very, very closely related to insects. So that's what I kind of mean when I say there are insects in the sea, like crabs, lobsters, isopods, so on and so forth. Aw, arthropods are cool. Roly polies are epic. Isopods are isopods. They are sea roly polies. I mean, roly polies are isopods. They're cousins, in the closest sense of it. First cousins or siblings, I guess. Fish's water can bug, fly, eat. I'm sorry, Puck, but I don't know what that means. Well, some water striders are capable of living that lifestyle, um, unlike saltwater pools, but water striders don't live in water. They hunt on the water for larvae deposited by mosquitoes and other insects, and also just fish and amphibian larvae. But they don't actually live in water in that sense. Like if they were pushed underwater, then there is a good chance that they will drown. Good evening, Dorothy. It is good to see you. Severe diseases fish can get? Yes, there are um, large spiders that can eat the fish. Can fish learn abyssal? Unfortunately, no, and they can also not learn Latin. As for diseases, um, like in fish tanks, I believe ammonia poisoning is a pretty common one, unfortunately. Fin rot, I know that sounds kind of gruesome, but fin rot is one. Like bacterial infections. Um, itch, I believe, is also one. ICH. It's like red streaks on the fish. And there's nitrite poisoning, which I believe is also pretty common, unfortunately. I do not think that you can get forbidden knowledge by eating a deep sea fish, Puck. And what do you mean by the elephant nose fish can learn to talk? Yes, fungus infection are also very common. And no, I don't think that's how this works. This is not a world of osmosis. Good old No Name asks, is there any evidence to support a theory that says certain breeds of fish are intelligent, sort of similar to mammal levels of intelligence? I do not think so. And if there are, it is a in development study. Let's check. Well, other than like dolphins and such, but dolphins, are burritos. No, I just checked to see if there are any new studies because that is something that I think about occasionally. However, I do not think that is something that happens as of now. Right. Jimmy asks, okay, so hypothetically, if it were a world where osmosis through consummation existed, what sea creature would I want to eat to reap the most benefits? Um, that is a very opinion based question because it depends on what type of life you want to live. If you want to live the life of an apex predator, then by all means, eat a great white or something. But if you want to live a quiet life or a life like on the sea floor, then go for something like a hermit crab or like a stonefish, where you live a very sedimentary, but still beneficial lifestyle. I mean, that's very opinion based. Benefits is a very wide term. It all depends on how you see it. Level Up asks, what if my body composition was composed of only materials that could be found in average swimming fish? My body composition was composed of only materials that could be found in average swimming fish. I don't know. I mean, are you talking about like body parts or just like your cells? I'm a little bit confused by the question, but I don't know. I mean, like if your lungs were replaced with book gills or just normal gills, then you'd probably have to live a life underwater. Pardon me. The venom of a stonefish could be cool. You could live a very peaceful lifestyle, just popping out when you need food. What's the difference between poison and venom? It's a good question. Venom is something that needs to be injected, I believe. Like it gets in your bloodstream. Poison, I believe, is ingested, like swallowed. check just to be sure. I don't want to spread misinformation. Yeah, exactly as I said. Venomous is injected through the bloodstream, and poisonous is ingested through eating. Good old No Name asks, if you grow a fish in a large container, and the pressure was set above or below the regular degree they typically live in, and the water was over oxidated than standard levels, could you produce a larger, stronger, tastier fish? Um, I'm not entirely sure about the tastier part, because taste is very subjective. However, as for size and strength, I guess possibly if you put them through certain stimulations, then and they survive said stimulations and offspring survive said stimulations, I guess over a series of generations, you might be able to see some developmental changes that contribute to that evolutionary line. Stormcloak Guard says tougher fish usually don't taste as good. I mean, I guess it's somewhat true, but on average, but everybody has different tastes, I guess. If you were swimming around in the primordial soup and you got legs, would you walk around onto the hot, harsh land? I would, because if I was living a life only knowing the primordial soup, and all of a sudden I developed a means of exploring a new world, absolutely I'd go try to at least test the waters or lack thereof to see what type of environment is just beyond the surface. But then again, if I didn't like it, then I could always turn right back around and enjoy my life in the primordial soup. But for the sake of curiosity, absolutely. No, a manatee will not taste like steak. They're very blubbery and they're very peaceful. Do not eat to seek out. Well, yes, it is a sea cow, but that's just a nickname because they live a very slow grazing lifestyle. However, just because something is named one thing doesn't mean it automatically becomes that thing. I do not believe manatees are really that sought after for their meat. I'm not sure. Is there a sea pig? I believe there is. Let me pull up its scientific name real quick. Ah, yes, the scotoplanes. It's actually a sea cucumber, but it isn't a fish. And they look pretty crazy. They have like little nubs for the legs, and they are pink, so I guess it makes sense. They're crazy little creatures, though. Good old No Name asks, when crabs manage to get a hold of knives like in those videos, do they actually understand the mechanics of how to swing the knife around? Like, do they somehow understand the concept of weaponry? No, I do not believe they do. Crustaceans are awfully intelligent. However, I believe that when they get a hold of something, they think that they're holding on to part of what is threatening them. So they hold on to it and they keep it because they kind of understand that whatever is coming towards it is coming towards it because it is holding this thing. So if it holds this thing, it's almost kind of like leverage for survival. However, I that might be a bit of a reach. So I think it's mainly just holding on to it, and they just kind of move their arms in a way that they would naturally do to protect themselves, And that sometimes ends up in a way that it looks like they're brandishing the knife towards the filmer, I guess. Can you pickle pork? Pork, I believe, can be pickled. I'm not really too sure about the pickling process. I believe it is more of a salt and filled based process, but I don't know. I'm not a huge foodie. I mean, I like food, but and I don't think you can pickle a sea cucumber. And if you can, that was something I did not know. Well, as true as that might be, good old Nonam, I believe that's mainly just coincidence. Like I said, they naturally rely on their claws as a defensive mechanism. That is their main tool in survival. Those claws and those feet, plus those compound eyes. So the knife obviously is a much heavier thing than what they're used to than just their ordinary claws. So when they would naturally be moving into a defensive position with their claws, that knife kind of they're trying to compensate for the knife, so it kind of maybe looks like they're brandishing it, but I don't really think they are. And if they are doing that on purpose, then that is news to me. You can pickle anything as long as you have enough vinegar. If you say so. I'm not the pickling expert, but I do not think you can pickle a liquid. I believe it is something that you do with solid foods. Can you, well, like I said, Storm, I don't think you can pickle liquids. I believe it is more of a solid based process. Okay, Jimmy, if you're going to get all technical with me, can you pickle me in all technical terms? Yes, but I would not recommend it because I am very happy with my current life situation. So I would not want to be dealt a swift and early end for the sake of pickling. Level Up seems to know a decent amount about pickling. Okay. Here. Back to Storm's question earlier about like a Warhammer painting stream. I do have, like I mentioned earlier, I have a pretty decent sized model that I want to build and paint. It would probably be two separate streams because this model, I built the same model kit, except I built a different guy with that model kit. Like there's different customization options to build like a different character. So let's see if we can find a decent image of him in my battle tome. Okay. I don't really know how well this is going to turn out, but it's this guy right here on the big fleshy thing. The pox maggot is what it's called. And he is Morbidex. So he is what I will be building and painting in future streams. Although I do not know when that will be. I believe it will be fun though. That would be very cool, Storm. I would like to see if you can properly pickle some cucumbers and make pickles. Well, level up. Despite you saying that, I think otherwise. You seem to know at least a decent amount about the process. I'm going to pretend I didn't read that level up. For those watching the stream, would that be something interesting that you would want to see? A Warhammer building and painting stream while talking about fish facts? Or would you rather prefer the Lego building first? Lego building I could do technically anytime. However, not tonight because we're already kind of running later than the stream as usual. However, those two options, which one would you guys want first? A double stream of building and painting a Warhammer figure or a Lego building stream? Lego chocolate? I don't know about chocolate, but I do got a Lego set over there. Stormcloak Guard wants Warhammer. Level Up's fine with either. I am fine with either too. I enjoy the process of both, although I have been very into Warhammer recently. That would be nice, Storm, if you could do that poll for me. Jimmy is fine with either. Well, fair enough. We can just vote on it since we have a now limited audience. And I don't want, no offense to you guys, but I don't want the words of a few to dictate the decision of many. So, we're coming up about the 50-minute mark, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. So, actually, we'll answer good old No Name's question first. He just sent one last question, and then we will wrap it up. Good old No Name asks, is it possible to teach sea-dwelling mammals to believe in some kind of religion? They found that chimps believe in God and follow some technological beliefs, or theological beliefs, sorry. I mean, they do both, technically. So would dolphins and orcas do that too? That is a good question. Dolphins and orcas, as well as belugas, being some of the most highly intelligent animals on the planet, as well as many other whale and mammal species in the ocean. I believe it is possible in like generations to come if their brain happens to develop more in their evolutionary process. I wouldn't discount it. I mean, they're very intelligent. They already have familial bonds, means of strategy, emotion, communication. It wouldn't surprise me if they come up with a new way of thinking, that being some sort of religious aspect, but I don't know. Chimps have a kind of more defined level of intelligence. Who knows? Maybe someday. Yeah, I try to keep an open mind to most things. So there we go. That is tonight's stream. We talked about some jellyfish, lots of questions, possible Warhammer or Lego stream coming soon. I could build it right here because I just recently found this cool little mini desk. There's still lots of plastic bits from my last project on this mini desk underneath my desk that pulls out. It also works as a good tray for eating. A little while ago, I bought Lunchables just for the hell of it. Pardon my French. Or heck of it, sorry. From the local Target. And I ate them here while watching a podcast. Just getting all the little plastic bits from tomatoes. All right. So let's wrap up tonight's stream. Like always, feel free to leave suggestions anytime. I had a good time streaming with you guys tonight. Lots of questions that I enjoyed answering. So yeah, feel free to leave suggestions anytime. Always stay curious. Feel free to reach out about anything. Just ask questions in general about really anything. Feel free to join the Discord server. See you guys later. Like always, stay safe. Ask anything you want. And see you later, fishy friends. Have a good night, too.